if you haven't heard, I am leaving Korea. Oh my god, I can't believe it. It's actually like in a week and a half. It feels surreal, but yeah, I'm leaving. It's just, it's time to move on. But until that point, I still want to make a couple more videos for you guys because I just want to drop the knowledge. I feel like I've been here for 2 years. I've learned a lot of stuff. So, let's talk about it. Oh my god, I just had the longest day at work today. So, segue, let's talk about workplace tips for Korea. Just really quick, most of these tips are going to be best in a school environment because I have been a teacher here for 2 years. That doesn't mean that you can't apply them to other areas, but yeah, they're mostly going to be for if you work at a school here. So, anyway, here we go. So let's start with our first tip. The first tip I want to give you guys is smiling. If you get a new job in Korea, it's really going to help you, especially from the start, to just start off smiling a lot. Appearances are really important in Korea. That is what's going to make people feel comfortable. It's what's going to make, parents feel comfortable. If you work in a school, it's really important. My second tip is that a lot of things are going to be so last minute. So over the past couple years, I've been able to get a little bit more accustomed to this, but it's still like, it always throws me for a whirl. If you come in and there's a field trip, we have these report cards due, we have this event coming in, and you don't know until the day you come in, you just have to learn to roll with it. And if you need something from your employer especially, then you need to make sure they know about it and remind them, I'm going to say daily. I annoy myself with how much I have to, remind people. But if you don't do that, then a lot of times your stuff doesn't get done. Clearly, this is a case-by-case basis, but I still think it's a good, rule of thumb. My third tip is buying gifts. If you're in Korea, even for a little while, and you stay with people or you work for people, you'll notice that Korean people are very generous, and sharing is just part of the culture. So if you're at a lunch or you have a snack or something and you come in and you don't share it, it's kind of a little bit like, so just join in the culture, be part of the culture, and share with other people. If you go on a vacation and you see a little snack candies that's, relatively inexpensive, buy it for your coworkers. It really creates a nice feeling of harmony all around, and it just sets things off on a nice foot with that culture of sharing and gift giving. It's one of the things I love best about Korea. My fourth tip is not something I can really help you with, but something you're just gonna have to deal with, and maybe I can make you prepared for. It's that you're not going to get any sick days. I'm talking about 99% of the time, most of the time, expect no sick days. And it's really something to get used to culturally. I think we can kind of all agree that in the US, every once in a while you have to take a day off. Maybe you're not mentally there. Or let's talk about really you physically cannot work, and so you have to take a day off. Korea's not here for it. Korea is not here for it. I'm talking about in most situations, if you take a day off, they want to see your doctor's note. They want to see you in the hospital so they can come visit you at the hospital. They're not playing around. If you want that sick day, hold your breath. Tip number 5 is to try to pass the test of time. Seniority. Your employer might really try to test your limits at the beginning. The strictness of rules and, the intensity of how much you work. But you'll find out over time, usually in most situations, that you can kind of get away with more after you've been at a place longer. I think it's like a seniority deal. They just don't question you as much. You can get away with a little more. You know what I'm saying? So maybe take advantage of it a little bit as much as you feel comfortable. Tip number 6. Now we're getting into the nitty-gritty. Tip number 6 is about following your boss's lead. I think a lot of times in America, when we're at a job even though we have a boss, we consider ourselves on a team. And when we're working on a project, we want to contribute our ideas and we want to find a way to make the project work better, find a way to make everything flow better. And we think we'll be rewarded for that and we'll be valued for that. In Korea, I find there's a certain way that the boss wants the project to go, and you kind of need to follow that way. They don't really want to hear that, you have a different idea about something. If you have a project and you see something wrong or something that you want to change or a way it can work better, they're not always open to that idea. Or if they do ask you for the suggestion, then don't expect them to actually take the suggestion. A lot of times they have an idea about the way they want things to go, and it's just kind of in your best interest to follow along. Not in all cases. Sometimes you have a very open-minded boss, and if they ask you for that feedback and they take that feedback, good job. You have a very untraditional boss. And yeah. Tip number 7. Always assume that your boss is serious. If you have a boss that is very, jokey and very humorous and is always joking around, with their employees, then that's great, but I'd still always assume that they're serious first. I have personal experience with this. I was new at a job here, and my boss asked me something, and I was like, I can't believe. I didn't even know I was really laughing, but I was like, you're not serious that I have to do this right now. And he was very serious, and he was kind of angry, so that I was laughing. I didn't even realize I was laughing, but we immediately got off on the wrong foot because I was like, what are you talking about? The point is that your boss is probably going to ask you to do some things that you find unreasonable. Don't laugh. Just make your case about, why it is unreasonable and what you're going to need to try to alleviate that situation. But yeah, I would always just start out assuming that they're serious. Number 8. Like I said, we're in that nitty gritty. I'm going to tell you something. I hope, it doesn't make you feel some type of way. But my suggestion is that you don't really make work friends. The reason I say this is, unfortunately, a lot of times, although you want to have a very supportive relationship and you want to have a partnership with your Korean co-teacher, a lot of times I've found, and my friends have found, that the Korean co-teacher often ends up trying to compete with you. It's something really weird and, God knows why. It's really dumb. But unfortunately you end up having this weird, I'm not trying to compete, but I often feel like Korean teachers might be trying to compete with me, basically, unfortunately. The other thing is that you can't really trust that what you say to your Korean co-teacher is not going to be heard by the other co-teachers and is not going to be heard by the boss. In America, we have this thing. When you're working with the employees, you kind of have a camaraderie. And we have a kind of a no snitching policy. Our culture is really against it. Whereas the Korean culture, I don't really think they see it as snitching. They just think, oh, here are the rules. You did something that is not the rule, or you did something that the administration didn't exactly say, blah, 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 blah. So, I'm going to tell everyone. I'm going to tell the boss. It's kind of got an edge of competitiveness to it, but it's also just this is how things work. So it's not, I don't know if they're even trying to gut you. It's more that they're just this is how it works. Tip number 9, don't interrupt your boss. Try not to ever. It's just bad form. If you're in a meeting, right? And I think this is different. In American culture, you're in a meeting, everybody's offering ideas. Everybody wants to contribute. Everybody's talking. But in the Korean workplace, you have a meeting, your boss talks to you, during that time, try your best. This is really hard for me. I've found out since I lived here that I'm very mouthy. Like, if your Korean boss is talking to you, you just listen. Listen the whole meeting, right? If you have a question after the meeting, go and ask another teacher. Or if you really need to talk to your boss, then you wait until the meeting's over and then see that they're free and then go talk to your boss privately. But one thing that really gets under a Korean boss's skin, I would say most of the time, in most cases, is if you go, nah, 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 nah. Whereas in America, it's seen as engaged and listening and contributing. Here, it's seen as interrupting. And why does she keep interrupting me? So you probably want to stay away from that. Just wait until after and bring it up then, you know? This is my last tip. And it's another just, it is what it is kind of thing. If they have it out for you at work, they have it out for you. And there's like, do your best, but there's like, there's hardly much you can do. If they've decided they're going to get rid of you, they're going to get rid of you. Like, if they've decided they're going to make things hard for you, they're going to, make things hard for you. And don't feel too bad about that, especially if you're young. Don't feel too bad about that. You really want to, do a good job at work. You really want to, make your employer happy. But if you can, you can't. And I think there might be a little bit of a tendency to have a scapegoat in the Korean workplace. So don't feel bad about it. And just, you did your best. I had to tell myself the same thing. So, yeah. Okay, guys, so those were all my tips. I hope it wasn't too bleak. I hope it helped. Like, it's all about actually helping you avoid some of these pitfalls at work. And so you can have, a great time here because, living in Korea is great and you're going to make great memories even at work. So, yeah.